Somebody on Monday night ought to say amen. Oh, what a time. What a time on a Monday night. This is prayer night at gospel meetings. You start praying on Sunday for Monday. Because you know you're going to need some prayer for Monday night. But God is marvelously good, isn't He? Matter of fact, since I've been over 40, He's just like Campbell's soup. He's good. Every time you can get out and you know what your name is, you can feed yourself. You know, you don't have food running down the side of your mouth from a stroke. Somebody will say, man, alive. You know, you drove yourself or you rode with somebody, you had something to drive. What a blessing that is tonight. And so I don't need folk really anymore to make me happy. When I walk in the building, I'm already happy. Even if the song me to sing a bad song, I listen to a tape recording on the way over. Get happy on the way to church. Hey man, if you got one of them song leaders that ain't quite where they need to be, not yet. I have worship on the way to worship. By the time I walk up in here, I'm ready to tell the Lord, thank you. You've been mighty, mighty good. I hope you've had a marvelous Monday, and looks like you have. I want to again give my appreciations to your preacher for the invitation to come to this very wonderful congregation. I'm thrilled to death. I've been telling it on y'all all day. Preachers call me and ask me, Doc, how's it going? I said, I tell you, it's so celebratory and so good until I'm just rejoicing. I'm bouncing off the wall. Amen. Just to watch y'all worship God. Marvelous, as Dr. Washington said, marvelous. And I've had a great time with you and with him. I want to commend him for the job he's doing with this church. And I go across this country quite a bit. And I see preachers who labor in the Word many years. And they're not faring quite as well. But it's good to see a church where the church is well and the preacher loves him. We love the preacher. That birthday, he's still getting cards. Amen. Getting old is fun for him. Amen. And monetarily fun for him. Amen. So we want to thank the church for that. Good to see Brother Hopper. And if there are other men of God here tonight, we're glad you're here. We want to thank you for your presence on Monday night. Be turning now in your Bible to Mark chapter 10. If you are visiting with this church, I want you to know that the doors swing open on welcome hinges. And we're delighted that you made this your stopping off place on a Monday night. And hopefully something will be said here tonight that might be encouraging to you as we tabernacle from earth to glory. Realizing that this world is not our home. We are here but just a little while. And that we fly away to be at rest. But as we move about in this world, we need the Lord on our side. And so hopefully something will be said tonight that will be helpful to you as we look at the Word of God tonight. If you have Mark 10 and verse number 46, say amen. Now I'm going to read it, and then I have some other guys read it with me. I always have a guy who's a Bible reader for me. Might designate somebody. I'm going to read it first. Beginning in verse number 46, the Bible says, and they came to Jericho. And as he went out of Jericho with his disciples, and a great number of people, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the highway side begging. Verse 47. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, yes, Lord, he began to cry out and say, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. Verse 48, and many charged him that he should hold his peace. But he cried the more, a great deal, thou son of David, have mercy on me. Verse 49, and Jesus, stood still, commanded him to be called. And he called the blind man, saying unto him, Be of good comfort. Rise, he calleth thee. Verse 50, and he casting away his garment rose and came to Jesus. Verse 51, Jesus answered and said unto him, What wilt thou that I should do unto thee? The blind man said unto him, Lord, that I might receive my sight. Verse 52 culminating, and Jesus said unto him, Go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole. And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus in the way. For a few moments tonight, I want to tag this text, how to break out of a rut. How to break out of a rut. Living is sometimes difficult. If you have not discovered that already, keep on saying good morning. Life can happen at any time. And before you know it in life, if you're not careful, you can easily find yourself in a position of life where you're not going forward, you're not going backward, you're at a standstill in life. Has life ever been at a standstill point? I developed this theme for this lesson from a time at the church where I labor. We have a woman driver. We are equal opportunity drivers at North Peoria. You don't mind the sisters driving as well as the brothers, as long as you ain't got too many tickets. Amen. Well, a young lady was driving the bus. It was a rainy night. It was a Wednesday night Bible class. And we had the bus loaded heavily with people who had ridden the bus to church. And she decided, for some unforeseen reason, to bag the bus up between two trees on grassy ground. It's been raining all day. So the back tires were on the ground. And it rained all during Bible class. When we came out, everybody piled on the bus running to avoid the raindrops. Because you know, amen, rain do something to us. Got on that bus and she started up. When she did, she tried to pull out, but as she tried, the back wheel started to spin. Because there was folk on that bus that were not small.
All right.
Had a good size and a good amount of weight on that bus. And so she tried a little again and it went down a little further. And she tried some more. And after a while, the wheels were spinning. She was really literally stuck in a rut. And I came out of the building, because the preacher usually has one locking up the building, but praise God, we don't have to do that anymore. And all of them were standing around looking at her in the rut. So we had to figure out how to get her out of that rut. Fortunately, there were still young men courting on the parking lot. Should have gone home and they wouldn't have been in a mess. So I summoned about 6 or 7 of them from the young ladies that were talking to them. I said, now I'm going to supervise and y'all are going to push. I like supervisory capacity. And I said, now you stop spinning your wheels and let me figure this out. I said, what I need you to do is to just lightly, amen, touch your gas, and these guys are going to push. 5 or 6 strong men. She eased on the gas and they tried to push, but the rut was too deep. So I told them, what we're going to do then is we're going to rock you.
Yes, sir.
And when we rock you, when I tell the young men push, we're going to rock you and push you out. Because life will sometimes rock you before you can ever get out of the road. So for a moment or two, we just ease and rock a little bit back and forth. When I finally told them, Hopper, push, And all at once they gave their strength and they pushed her out of the rut, and the mud was all over her. So now you're going home, you ain't going to court no more. But we got her out of the rut. And I discovered in my own life, not about yours, but life will put you in a position sometimes where I said earlier, you can't go forward, you ain't going backward, you just stuck where you are. There are some folk who've experienced death in your family, and death will cause you to get in a rut if you're not careful. Losing mama can put you in a, Mama's Day is coming up Sunday, and you lost your mama last year, and the tears are still rolling. You have not gotten past the death of your mama. You're still stuck in a rut. Some of y'all have had folk leave your life, friends and husbands and wives who left you. You're still talking about it 30 years later. You need to learn how to get out of a rut. I want to tell you tonight how to get out of that rut in life. Y'all all right? And I shan't be long in telling you. All right? Now, verse 46. So let's read this. Whoever's reading with me. Let me give you 4 or 5 points, and the lesson will be yours on how to get out of this rut at night. Verse 46. Read it for me, whoever's reading with me tonight. All right, they came to Jericho. Jericho was about 14, 15 miles from Jerusalem. It was at the foot of the hill from Jerusalem. And priests and Levites would often travel the road to Jericho. In fact, Jericho was the first city that they came to when they came out of the wilderness. When they came out of the wandering in the wilderness, Jericho was there. Remember called Joshua fought the battle? Y'all gonna help me of Jericho and the walls? Yeah. That city, that was that city. This is the last time that Jesus is passing through Jericho because he's on his way to Calvary's cross. Never again will Jesus pass through the city of Jericho. This is the last time he's going to ever go through Jericho. So watch what happens. He's on this road. Read.
And as he went out of Jericho with his disciples,
now read,
and a great number of people.
It is estimated that close to 3,000 to 5,000 people. When you do your research, 3,000 to 5,000 people, along with the 12, are following Jesus on the road to Calvary. 5,000 folk walking on the road of Jericho. Now think about this now. I'm going to tell you something about Jericho Road in a minute. 5,000. Folk everywhere. Folk every place. Jesus is exiting the city of Jericho. Watch what happens.
Blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the highway side begging.
Now, aren't you glad, number one, and before I get too far, that you don't have to beg? Have you ever had to ask folk for something and they act like they don't want to give it to you? You helped them before, you've done favors for them. All you need is a ride to work, and they start, well, you know, I would if I could. It's rough when you don't have your own and you got to beg somebody. I've been in positions where I didn't have what I needed. I had to ask somebody else to help me where I couldn't help myself. Doesn't taste good in your mouth when you have to beg. He sat on the highway side every day of his life, begging. Read.
And when he heard that it was Jesus,
of Nazareth,
he began to cry out and say,
somebody told him, guess what, Bartimaeus? That man that's been doing things is on the highway. That one that's been doing things, he's on the highway. He ain't coming back this way no more. He's on the highway, man. And that's the one. He's the one you need to get a hold of because he does stuff that nobody else can do. If your opportunities pass, you may never get your eyes open. But I heard that he has the ability to open blinded eyes. You better take your opportunity. You better seize it. He heard that Jesus. I can't see, but somebody told me it was him. Read.
Jesus, that son of David, have mercy on
me. He began to cry out when he heard. He acted on faith. 2 Corinthians 5. We walk by faith. Without faith, it's impossible to please him. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. Faith is necessary. Faith is believing in God even when I can't see God. You'll never see his footsteps on the water, but he's been walking on it. Huh? You can't trace his footsteps on the water when he walked on it in Matthew 14, but he walked on it. You can't trace him, you can't see him sometimes, but every now and then I feel him moving. It was Jesus, and he cried out, what's it, free?
And many charged him that he should hold his peace.
And many charged him that he should shut up. There's some folk in church that don't like you worshiping the way you worship. There's some folk up in here that want you to shut up. But if God has been good to you, you ought not but help to say hallelujah anyhow. Man, years ago I baptized, I tell this story regularly because it's true. I baptized a shouting woman.
All right.
I loved her. She helped the preacher. Baptized. And she went in the water, shouting. Came up, thanking God for letting her find the church, and thanking God for saving her. Went in the water jumping and shouting. Came up out of the water. But you know us.
All right.
Stay around us long enough. We'll take your shout away. So they were just so certain that Sister Girl wasn't going to keep all that shouting up. So, amen. But 4 or 5 months later, every Sunday morning, when the word got good, she started shouting with me. And literally one Sunday, the man that she sat behind came to me after worship and said, you need to do something about that woman. She's right there behind me, clapping over my head, yelling in my ear. You need to tell her to shut up some of that stuff. Sounds like this text. Huh? You do something with her. She's disrupting worship. You can't focus on what you're saying for all that noise she's making. What you gonna do with her? I said, brother, I like to call his name, and he might be some kin to y'all. I really almost came in. Y'all be calling home tomorrow. He talking about y'all down there. I said, God, tell you what I'm going to do. I got the answer. He said, what you going to do? I said, I need you to move your seat. I'm not about to tell that woman that's been praising God, thanking God, saying hallelujah to the highest praise. I'm not about to tell that woman to shut up for you. If somebody in here mess around and get happy and you don't like it, move your seat. You really don't know what I've been through. When I walk in here tonight, you don't know that my son has been out all night and just got home before I got to church. Every time a siren came along, I thought it might be for him. You don't know what I've been through. How are you to tell me to shut up? You don't know me that well. Let me smile at y'all. Y'all all right? I'll be where you won't be in a minute. I know you want the preacher to come through, but this is too much to skip over. All right. Yeah. preaching for Tom Hardaway one year. This went to Tom 2 times a year. Just preached to Tom place all the time. 916 8th Street, North Little Rock, Arkansas. Yeah. And he baptized a woman. She was a mother of the Baptist church, and she was in the Church of Christ now, but she still had that mother in her.
All right.
Don't act like you don't know what mother of the church is. I don't know what mother of the church is. She was on the mother's bowl.
Yes, sir.
She had that hat sitting sideways and that feather in it. That night I got to preaching and the word of God got good to her. One of them nights when the Lord was working with her preaching. I felt well, she felt good. I rocked this way, she rocked the other. We were rocking the house together. After a while, mother couldn't take it no more. She jumped up off her seat. That fella in her hat put her hand behind her, started walking down the aisle, praising God. 80 years old. Two of Tom's ushers went down to grab that woman. They were taking her outdoors. I said, Tom, this ain't my church, but it is tonight. Leave that woman alone. I worked for 45 minutes building that fire. I don't need y'all to put my fire out. They said, well, we thought she was going to disturb you, dog. I said, now there have been 3 of them rascals on the front seat, sleep the whole time. Take them out, walk around. Snoring on the front, take them out. There are folk who will make you miss your blessing. You ain't gonna make me miss my shout. I don't care if you Church of Christ or not. If the Lord's been good to me, I'm gonna say hallelujah. If he brought me somewhere, I'm gonna say amen. And I just might get up and just rock a while because the Lord is that kind of good to me. They told him, shut up.
But he cried the more
And
aggressively.
the more they said, shut up, the louder he got. Don't let folk make you miss your blessing. It don't take all of that. How do you know what it takes from me? You may eat one piece of bread, but I want you. You're not the judge of what it takes me to get through a day. You don't know where I work. You don't know who I work with on my job. I don't work with the same folk you work with. You try to work with the folk I work with all day. Y'all all right? You don't know who I live with in my house either. Just blink your eyes. Don't say it, man. Just blink your eyes. I don't want no trouble when you get to the house. Just blink your eyes. You don't know what I got at the house. You don't know. You don't know what I go through at the house. Blink your eyes real fast and just say Jesus. So when I get here, I'm ready to shout. I want somebody in the street right now. The more he said, shut up, they said, shut up. The more he cried. The louder he got. Watch what happens. Read.
Thou son of David, have mercy on me.
He calls him by his national name, and then he calls him by his local name. National name. Son of David. That's your lineage. Where you came from through 42 generations. Huh? I know who you are. Somebody told me that you had some lineage. That you were a Jew. And ain't no Jew like you. You got Jewish blood in you. Son of David! Read on.
And Jesus stood still.
Jesus what?
Stood still.
When Jesus stands still, stuff happens. Oh, when the Lord stands still. preacher, that'd be a sermon all by itself. The day Jesus stood still. I watched him when he stood still one day before a 4-day-old grave. He said, show me where you laid it. Walk out to a 4-day-old grave. Call Lazarus by name. Lazarus on the outside. The chilly waters of life. And I hear him saying, I hear somebody calling my name. He stood still. Death let him loose. Couldn't hold him no longer. Came out of a tomb walking, mummified. When they said loosen because his legs were tired. But the tie couldn't keep him from coming to Jesus. So he told him loosen and let him go. When Jesus stands still, McDonald's get a fast food idea. Take some fish and barley loaves and feed hungry people. Is that right? Y'all hear what I'm saying? Oh, when the rose of Sharon stands still, you better watch out. One day they were messing with his child over an axe named Stephen, and he was sitting on the right hand of God. But he stood still. Oh, when the Lord stands still, thunder rolls. When the Lord stands still, lightning flash. When the Lord stands still, dead folks start walking again. When the Lord stands still, men who couldn't see, eyes come open again. All you needed to do is just stand still for a moment. Stood still. Huh? Read.
And commanded him to be called. And they called the blind man, saying unto him,
This is rich. The same folk who told him to shut up, Jesus told them, go get it. The Lord can make your enemy your blessing. Can you do it? 1 minute ago, you told him to shut up. But when the Lord stands still, he made those same folk go get it. Before I close this, how you get out of the rut like them bad jazz? Number one, do what you can. When you're in a rut, do what you can do. Before you ask somebody else to do something for you, do what you can do. We are really people who really want folk to do everything for us. But I have told people, first of all, what can you do? You need to be vested in this like I'm vested in it. I continue to give you a fish, you'll never learn how to fish. And I'll have to give you a fish the rest of your life.
Amen. Amen.
We need members of the church to do what they, if you're in a rut, do what you can. You can't do nothing, pray. Do what you can do. That's the first step to you getting better. Amen. Now, are you doing what you can do, or are you expecting someone else to do it all for you? Take responsibility for yourself. And that's one of the lessons, by the way, you ought to pass on to your children. I'm just dropping that, parents, because y'all need to hear this. Some of y'all doing everything for them, and you got a generation of children who don't know how to do anything for themselves. They got their hands out every time you turn around. So I can you give me? And kids will get mad at you about your money. I'm gonna go back to the text, but I gotta do a sidebar. They're getting mad at you about your money. And when you're a teenager, what right do you have to slam a door? Your name ain't on no mortgage, you don't pay no grocery bill, you don't pay no light bill. You better get your behind up there and stand on this bill. Sidebar. I just dropped it. It didn't cost nothing. Do what you can for yourself. And you do your children a disservice if you don't teach them how to work. They didn't know how to work. Those of you who come to the church every time you turn around want the church to do for you. Before you ask the church to do for you, do what you can for yourself. I'm not saying church don't help. Because we help all the time. But sometimes I notice that we help folk who don't want to work. Who don't want to do anything themselves. Hallelujah in the house. I guess preaching coming on. Huh? Take responsibility for yourself.
Amen.
Then number 2, when you want to break out of the word, take whatever you got to the Lord.
Amen. All right.
I'm taking my blindness, something I can't handle myself.
Amen.
I'm taking it to God. Because there's nothing that God can't handle. Cancer is not too big for God. God can cure cancer. And he doesn't need chemo or radiation to do it. In the Church of Christ, we have limited God's power. We let denominational folk take our faith away from us. God doesn't need a doctor. He doesn't need a healer to do anything if he chooses to do it. God can do it independent of anybody else. That's the kind of God that I serve. Take your problem to God, believing that God can do something for you. I'm almost done. Y'all ready? Let me finish this text first and I'll give you the last 2 points. Go ahead.
Be of good comfort.
He said,
rise.
Rise.
He calleth thee.
He calleth thee.
Yeah.
Be of good comfort. Rise.
Yeah.
Cheer up. Don't be depressed every day.
Yes, sir.
Be of good comfort. Let me tell y'all something for this text. Do you realize he was sitting on the Jericho highway? Jericho highway at some points was so narrow that only 2 folk could go together on that highway. What that means is that where he sat sometimes, beasts of burden, camels, donkeys, cows would travel the Jericho road. As sacrifices sometimes to be offered to the temple, they bring these animals on the Jericho road. Now, when these animals travel the Jericho road, Hopper, they would leave a deposit behind.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Y'all going to the country gonna figure that out in a minute. Y'all know what cow chips are. Oh, y'all ain't dignified and been to Yale University. You know what a cow chip is. That's the stuff they leave that they drop while they're traveling on the highway. Now, Hopper, what they would do, because they walk in sandals, and they didn't want cow chip stuff in their shoes. So what they would do is take their feet and kick the cow chip to the side of the road. Guess where Bartimaeus was sitting? He was sitting on the side of the road in a bunch of he's literally sitting in mess. He's in a messy situation. Have you ever been in a messy? You need to get out of your mess. Sinning, there was no way out of your mess. But then came Jesus. Then folks tell you stay in your mess. Flies, gnats, all around him, the stench in his nose every day. He's sitting by the side of the road, can't do no better. Look at where he's sitting. And then Jesus come by and somebody have the audacity to tell him, stay in your mess. He ain't got time for you or your mess. I'm glad the Lord has time for me tonight. He called for the reason.
And and he cast away his garment.
Now, see, you just thought that was something incidental that he cast away his garment. But when you do your research, you will discover that a coat was just like a car. You could get money on your coat. A coat was significant because in the Mediterranean climate, it got cold at night. And you could freeze. It'd be hot during the day, but cold at night. And you needed your coat. Every weary traveler had a coat. So do you know you could take a loan out on your coat? But if I took a loan hopper out on my coat from you, you had to give me my coat back at night to protect your loan. Did y'all hear me? Are you still with me? See, if it got dark, give me my coat back in the morning. I bring the coat back to you to hold till I paid my debt. This coat wasn't just some ordinary coat. It needed that coat to stay alive at night. But he had to throw it away because it would encumber him from getting to Jesus. A coat might trip you out. There are some people that are hanging on to you that you need to let go. Because all they're doing is holding you back from your blessing. You got to let it go. There's some folk in your family, sometimes you got to let go. I got some kinfolk, ain't got no right in them. Then my kinfolk ain't got no right in them, just as wrong as they can be. My wife was talking about my kinfolk. I said, that's enough. It's enough. Remember now, you ain't got no perfect family yourself. You know when y'all talk about, you act like your daddy, so what about your mama's family? Some liars in your family. There are some folk in your family, you can't deal with them too often. They'll mess you up. I was riding with a friend of mine one day at a meeting like I am right now. This is gospel truth. Meeting like I am now. We having a good time and had a great lunch. And then he had a pipe stuck in his mouth. And he reached up in the glove compartment and pulled out a bag. I thought it was tobacco. But a closer look revealed that it was not tobacco. And that was before they had medicine, medicated, whatever y'all got now. Some of y'all ain't got no coma now. You just want to smoke. He pulled out a whole bag full and got ready to roll him a blunt. I said, stop the car now. Members in North Peoria will never believe I didn't inhale. Stop the car. He didn't have an hour. He had a whole bag. I had to cut him loose. I ain't going to jail for no brain. Some things you got to toss away. They're valuable. How valuable? That coat had value. But it wasn't as valuable as what he was going to get. If you want something more than what you got, some things you got to throw away to get more than what you got. Almost done. Y'all better say amen quickly. Huh? So you threw it away. Watch.
He rose and came to Jesus.
Blind man walking. Blind man walking. He still can't see it. He didn't say go get him. He said go call him. And tell him I said come in. Blind man walking. How you gonna get to Jesus? Because the Lord gonna move everything out of my way. When I read that, I shut it all by myself. I don't need y'all to shout. When I read that, the Lord will move every obstacle out of my way. I don't have to worry about backstabbing people. God will move them out of my way. If he calls me, he'll move it. Oh, look at him. When he calls me, he'll move it. Can't you see it now as I close this text? See, yes, I've been sitting for a long time. He's not seen the snow-capped mountains. All he has felt is the air, the coolness of the morning air. He's not seen a rose unfold its petals. All he's felt was the scent coming from the rose. He's never seen the ripples that come on the water from the blowing of the wind. All he felt was the wind blowing on his face. He had never beheld his mama's face. Never looked at the furrows that may be on her brow. All he heard was his mama's voice. But he never seen his daddy's face or beheld the look on his daddy's face. Never seen his kinfolk. But the Lord said, what do you want me to do? Y'all feeling all right? I feel good. I'm like James Brown now. What do you want me to do? And so he starts stumbling and fumbling on the way to Jesus. Oh, don't you know the Lord is guiding and directing every footstep. I heard him say that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Is that right? I don't have enough sense to put one foot in front of the other. And so I depend on the Lord every day of my life to put one foot in front of the other. I heard Jeremiah say, it's not a man that walketh to direct his own step. I don't have enough sense to direct my own steps. So I see him as he moved, and those folk are now watching that told him to shut up. You getting ready to witness my blessing. You told me I wasn't going to get my blessing. You told me to shut up on the side of the road. But look what God has for me. Nobody can take away from me. Watch me as I get my blessing. He starts to move toward the Lord. And the Lord, before he even got there, said, what would you have me do? What do you want me to do? Tell it to the Lord in prayer. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Ask the Lord for what you want. Tell it what you want. Watch it move in your life. Won't he do it for you? Somebody who has been experiencing something in your life. Take it to Jesus. That child that just won't behave. Take it to Jesus. Turn over to the Lord. Stop worrying about what's going to happen. Let the Lord work it out. Every time he'll work it out. After all, this is Jesus, Mary's baby. He's in his will. Jeremiah's power, and he good. Somebody know it. I know it tonight. And the rock believes it. I know it tonight. And the captain of my salvation, and he good. Won't he do it? Watch this. He fumbles his way over to Jesus. And he finally gets to the Lord. And the Lord said, just tell me what you want. Ain't it good for somebody to tell you, tell me what you want? And then they got the ability to give you what you want. Lord, I want to receive my sight. Go! Thy faith have made thee whole. What kind of faith do you have tonight? You have $10 faith? You got $100 faith. I've learned that life will deal with you in relationship to your faith. If you don't believe it, you won't receive it. Hallelujah. You've got to believe that God will do it for you. I don't believe for somebody else. You got to believe that God will deal with it for you because he cares about you. God isn't somebody in some distant space, way up yonder looking down on us. He's alive and well. And he's right here with me right now. Let me tell you about the God I serve as I close. I was in an airplane 35,000 feet up in the air. I was 10,000 miles away from home, preaching in a distant land. Been over there for a whole month, preaching the unsearchable riches of God. Preached in the Samoan Islands, preached over in Tahiti, went to Nelson, New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand, preaching all over the area, telling people about the Lord that's able to save your soul. It was time to come back home. 1 month later, 35,000 feet up in the air. And a bird had no business being up there that high. But he was. And we sucked that bird into the top engine on that jet. When that bird went into the top engine of that jet, that plane literally started to fall out of the sky. Imagine being on a plane and your stomach is up here while your body, because it's falling out of the sky. I did not have time for a Sunday morning prayer. I didn't have time for, our dear Heavenly Father, it is once born again that a few of your holy service at night. I didn't have time for all that. The plane is falling out the air. And so I said, Lord, have mercy. Isn't that what he said? He said, it's right, Lord. And the Holy Spirit took that. Jesus took that. And said, hey God, Blakney said he fallen. And he wants you to get hold of this plane. There was a lady sitting beside me, been drinking whiskey the whole time. Was drinking the whole time, just almost sloppy drunk. When that plane started to fall, she started hollering, oh, wow! I said, ma'am, it's going to be okay. She looked at me like, who are you? I said, because I'm on this plane. God ain't going to let this plane fall because I'm on this plane. He ain't going to do it. She looked at me like, you done lost your mind. Maybe you drank some of my whiskey when I wasn't looking. But I know somebody. I know somebody. I know somebody. I've served him too long. I preached too hard. I tried my best. I did it all I had. God ain't going to let it fall. We lost altitude. People hollering and crying. Things popping out. Huh? After we lost 10,000 feet, he kicked in something gear, whatever it was, and other jets are still working. He leveled it out, went back to Hawaii.
All right.
Landed in Hawaii. There were no nice in it, Lay's, with all that perfume in it. When I got off the plane, folk was shaking and going on. I said, can you give me one for my wife? Y'all think I'm bad? I got me two of them things. Put them in some bags I had so the scent would preserve itself. Worked on it for almost 3.5 hours. Said it's fixed, get back on it. Half of them wouldn't get back on it. I had 4 seats all to myself. Because if God can do it one time, God can do it again. I trust God. Amen. I believe it proved that God can. God can. I fuss with God. This is my last narrative. I'm done here. I fuss with God sometimes, and God, even in spite of me fussing with Him, blesses me. I was in Portland, Oregon, going to a meeting in Chicago. It was foggy that morning. My flight was delayed out of Portland because of the fog. When it finally lifted, I got into Seattle. Missed my plane. About 30 minutes. I'm fussing. Now I got to call somebody. What's going on? I got to figure out. Look for them cell phone days. Trying to get a hold of them. How you going to get a hold of them? They're on the way to the airport. I'm just fussing. Amen. And that plane, that year, between Seattle and Denver, crashed. That was one of the domestic crashes that we had. I had a ticket on that plane that crashed. I'm arguing with God, and God trying to tell me, shut up! I'm running this! Taught me how to shut up! And I tell him, whatever you're getting ready to do, Lord, you're going to do it. Because you can do it a lot better than I can. I don't have no sense to direct my own steps. So whatever you're fixing to do, go ahead and do it. So I trust him. Stand on your feet tonight. Stand on your feet. Stand on your feet. I used to sing an old song when I was in the body of Christ a long time ago that says, I will trust in the Lord until, then my grandma would say, I'm going to stay on the battlefield. Do you trust God enough to obey him tonight? There was some water behind that wall. There's some water behind that wall. I'm going to take that water too in a minute. But there's some water back there somewhere. And there are some clothes that we have that are sanitized. You put on those clothes and you meet the Lord in that water. If you go in this water, what the Lord will do is meet you there. He'll be already in it when you get in it. If you're in a rut, the Lord is already in it when you get in it. He'll meet you in that water, and what he'll do is clean you up. Every sin you got, his blood will wash it away in that water. All you need to do is have enough faith to walk down this aisle. Hear, believe, repent, confess, and be baptized. But most of us here on Monday night are members of the church. And many of us are in a rut in life. Our marriages get in ruts. You're in one bed, he's in another. Y'all not talking. You go for weeks at a time and you ain't saying nothing to one another. You're married, but you're not married. You got separate everything. It's time now to get out of that rut. It's time to get out of it. And don't care who knows that you're coming for prayer. Don't worry about these folk in here. If you need the Lord, come on down now. So this is prayer time. Prayer will change things. Come on Monday night, come on down. This is time to get it changed. Come on down. This is prayer time. Don't be embarrassed to come and say, y'all pray for me. I need y'all to pray for me. And then watch things change. Will you try the Lord tonight? This is prayer time. Prayer changes things. Have enough faith and enough courage to walk down this aisle and give it to God. I really love the Lord. And Lord, and I really love the Lord. Prayer time. You don't know what he's done for me. Yeah. Prayer time. That's why I love. Yeah. time. And all the time. God is good.
Again, I want to thank Brother Blakney for that powerful message. Amen. We got a group come forward. Sister Johnny Ponder come forward, make it known to the church that she needs someone to pray for her. Let me ask Brother Harvard if you come forward. Word our prayer on behalf of Sister Johnny Ponder. And if there are those in the listening audience who desire to have prayer on behalf of themselves, we give you this opportunity to stand where you are as we touch and agree.